Shellie Rushing Tomlinson is here with us. She's going to tell us a little bit first about your newest book, Suck Your Stomach In and Put Some Color On. Clearly a Southern book, Southern writer.
Exactly.
And so, first of all, I just was amazed when I started looking into the fact that All Things Southern is the website.
It is.
And you do that. You're the host of a radio show, television program. You've written several books. How did this all get started?
Actually, I was going to create a platform for my writing, and it's been about 6 years ago now. And the South was a passion of mine. My faith is a large passion. It's what motivates me, is my faith. But I didn't select that because I wanted a larger net. So I created a platform about the South because I'm passionate about this area and our cuisine and the people. And it's worked real well for me. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, wonderful. Well, I know I'm from the South too, so I can understand a lot of the things that I read in the book. If you're from Alabama, if you're from Louisiana, Mississippi, anywhere down here, you're going to relate to many things in the book. And
I hope so.
I about died when I read the phrase attitude adjustments. My mother used to say that to me, that I needed to get an attitude adjustment.
And did you like it?
No.
No, you did not like it. I hated it. And she was always in charge of adjusting your attitude, and it wasn't fun. But, you know, I give people a piece of advice in there because it really comes in handy later on, because you realize that if you adjust your attitude before life adjusts your attitude, you end up being a lot happier. So I guess it paid off in the long run, right?
Mama did know what she was talking about.
She did. Mamas always know best.
Yeah, that's definitely something that was a repeated theme in this book that I think any person, by the time they hit about 18, until then you don't know. But once you grow up a little bit, you realize your mom knows what she's talking about.
She turns into your best friend after she's kind of been your enemy, you know, and you get older and you realize that she knows a lot more than you thought she did. And then you start enjoying that relationship, right?
Absolutely. What's your next project going to be?
Well, I'm really going to kind of let the people and the reader response and that type of thing dictate it, because it's a lot of fun when you're in contact with the readers and the listeners, which is what I love about All Things Southern, because I have people writing in, you know, and they'll tell me their stories, and it will kind of form its own self, you know, which way I want to go with the chats and all, and we'll see what the sequel's going to be. It'll be about the South. How about that?
Great.
I can give you a secret. It will be about the South.
Well, that is another thing I loved. There were so many cute Southern quotes that were just interspersed throughout the book. And I think my favorite, I've heard it before, but I'd forgotten about it, and I just love it. The Mama said, "Dry it up or I will give you something to cry about." Where did all of these come from?
Well, these little text boxes were so much fun that you're mentioning are inserts in the book, and these are other Southern mamas that would write into the website. And I started hearing from them from everywhere, you know, and they would say, "I live in Hawaii now, but I was raised in the South," or, you know, "I'm in Michigan, but my mom is a Southerner." And they all would start out that way and say, "My Southern mama told me." And I started hearing that enough that I said, this is a wealth of material. So I started collecting that. And I included as many of their thoughts as I could in the book, along with my narrative, to just celebrate all the wisdom that was coming at me from so many different directions. What I hate the most is how many I had to lose, or the book would have been like War and Peace. Yeah, it would have been huge. So I had to select some, and I hated that. I hated losing any of them, so maybe they'll make it into that sequel that you asked me about.
I hope so. I think I sat there for a few minutes and just, I would read the book, and then I would go back and I would read the little comments, the little quotes in there, because all of it was just so wonderful.
They're wonderful, and they're really inspiring quotes, and then they're witty, and, you know, kind of the whole gamut there, but all of them you've heard before.
Yeah.
And maybe you haven't thought about in a while, you know, and then a Southern mama writes in with it, and you just can identify with it.
It's like, oh yeah, I have heard that.
I have heard that.
I think my
heard
mom
that a
has
lot.
said that to me.
Yeah, I didn't like it then, but I like it now.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, a story in here that was just hilarious, and you better be truthful with us here.
Okay, I'll try.
Did your grandmother really give birth to your dad by herself?
She really did.
Wow.
She really did. She put the baby at the time, who was, you know, toddling, and that's when they wore dresses. You know, the little boy wore the gowns during the day, and she put his shirt tail up underneath the bedstead, the headboard, real heavy headboard. She put him up underneath that, anchored his dress, and put some honey on his fingers and gave him a feather because it would keep him occupied trying to play with that feather. She went in the other room and she gave birth. Now,
wow.
I didn't want to do it, but she did it.
I don't think anybody would want to do that now.
Her husband was in the field. All the other kids were out and working or playing, and, you know, she went and tended to business. And
strong Southern woman right there.
Southern woman. There's my heritage. I love it.
It's wonderful. Okay, and another thing that was kind of touched upon, winning the game of what if. How do you do that?
you really learn to quit asking that, because you can just get stifled in life, whatever your pursuits are, whatever it is you're dreaming about doing or you want to do. If you ask yourself, if you get suckered into the what if, you know, what if this happens? What if it doesn't happen? What if I do this? What will happen next?
Yeah.
And you can just get just stymied by that. And so you have to realize that, you know, you just don't play the game. If you don't play the game of what if, you don't get caught up in it. And so I've learned just to not address it at all. I just move on to the next step of what I'm wanting to do, and then you figure out that once you get there, then you see the, you know, the next direction.
Yeah.
But don't start it that early.
Wonderful advice. Shellie Rushing Tomlinson, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate your having me on. It's been a pleasure.
It was wonderful.